Was not satisfied at home. I don't know how many different girlfriends he had during this time, but I think there were quite a few. Young women, listen to my advice. If you're married and you think you're happily married and your husband starts to cheat on you, he's a piece of shit. And look at him as a piece of shit and get out of it. Get out of that marriage. But I couldn't do that. Couldn't walk away.
Didn't you have an affair early on in the relationship or when you were a stockbroker?
Yeah, but I don't think Andy ever knew about that.
He did say he knew about it.
He did?
Yes, you would confess to him.
Oh.
He says he didn't stray from the marriage until you told him you had already strayed.
Oh, that's not true. I don't think.
Stop lying! Stop lying!
But what happened? You had an affair?
I had a very brief affair with a very attractive Irish man. And it was just nothing.
The hypocrisy is real. The accountability, or should I say, the lack of accountability, is absolutely insane here. So let me get this straight. When he cheated, he was a piece of shit, and you should have left him, but you were such a good person. You were the victim, and that's why you just couldn't leave him, because you love him too much. You wanted to make your relationship work, and he was a piece of shit. But when it turns out that you cheated on him before he cheated on you, it's all different now. That doesn't matter. He wasn't supposed to know that. It's his fault that he found that out. He was never supposed to know that. And I like how she tries to excuse herself by saying, well, he was a very attractive Irish man, so what could I do? I couldn't resist. I had to cheat. And it was very brief, so it shouldn't count. It was very brief. I love how the interviewer called her out on her BS. She has been so ingrained into believing that she's the victim that she's completely forgotten about the things that she did in the relationship. She's so focused on being the victim, she forgot that she cheated in the first place because she's so focused on him cheating. She'll excuse herself for all the things she has done. She'll come up with any excuse under the sun to explain why she did what she did and why she's not a bad person. But for the man, there's no excuse. Nothing can justify that. He cheated, he's a piece of shit, he deserves the worst. And that's what happens with some women. They live in this fake reality in their heads in which they are always the victim, in which people always doing something wrong to them. That's why when a woman complains about her ex to you, you can never just take her words for granted. You have to understand that there's another side to this story. You can never just take it at face value.
You think that parents should ask their children's consent when they are babies to change their nappy. Is this not sexualizing the interaction between a parent and child? Because it's just a parent's job to change a nappy, isn't it? It's just a normal, natural, innocent thing.
I'm very confused about how this would become a sexual issue. So, for example...
Because you're talking about consent, which is implying that parents are doing something which is non-consensual.
There's nothing sexual about consent. If I was to say, oh, Suzanne, it's really lovely to meet you, I would love to give you a hug, I would wait for you to communicate with me
because
whether that's
two adults.
Well, it's even more important to do it with a baby. You're building a baby's brain.
The baby can't respond. And also,
have you got kids?
Of course. I've worked with children. How many have you got? I've got one and I've fostered and I've
Talk
been
me
a
through the conversation
childminder.
you had with your 3-month-old baby about consent. How did they go?
It would have gone. I just need to change your nappy now to make you comfortable.
And your 3-month-old baby said what in response?
Of course, we would know that a 3-month-old baby can't speak. Babies communicate all the time.
How did your baby tell you that it was giving consent? A boy or girl?
A boy.
Or gender fluid? Which one?
A boy.
A boy. So how did your little boy, aged 3 months, communicate to you that it was okay to change his nappy?
Look like?
Yeah, I mean...
Everything goes into the same bank account. Yeah. All of our salaries just go into the same bank account.
And what about when you guys go out? Who pays for what?
We actually, it all comes out of the same account, so we split the funding, yeah.
So, this might be a little spicy, but do you guys have separate accounts at all?
No.
Not really, no.
No.
So you share everything?
Yeah.
And how does it go when you want to purchase something new or big, or how do you guys work that out?
I mean, defining big, I guess we talk about it.
We do. We have a conversation about like, hey, is this something that we need, or is this something like that you have desperately been wanting? And then we kind of just have the conversation of like, is it worth coming into our lives?
How about when you guys were dating? Who was paying for like dates and vacations and stuff?
I think we split it.
Half, yeah. Split.
What is the real cost of love to you? Like, what is it? Can you give it a number? Maybe like a yearly allowance for
I
love.
can be cheesy and just say priceless.
Is that what you want to go for?
Yes.
All right, the cost of love is priceless, guys.
This is what happens when these dumbass Instagram, Twitter, YouTube podcast people end up meeting just a very normal couple in real life. They end up looking stupid. They end up realizing that all these things about how much should this person earn, who should pay for what, who should be doing what in the relationship, and all this, they end up realizing that all that is just very stupid. Couples that are actually truly interested in each other and want to be together, these questions don't even arise to them, because they look at it and they ask themselves, who cares who spends what? Who cares how much this other person makes? At the end of the day, we're together and that's all that matters. Compared to these podcast relationships where they try to make relationships more transactional. And we're going to ignore that dumbass question at the end about what is the cost of love, the yearly allowance and all that. You can see they even looked at her as if she was a dumbass when she asked that. Because that was a stupid question. It's deep for these podcasts and people who don't really have a life, but it's dumb for people in real life.
I'll destroy you guys.
To say the N-word when you
No!
karaoke?
No, especially because you were singing "Call Me Maybe."